Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. The Christmas season is a wonderful time to entertain our friends and our family, or perhaps even have a Christmas party for our co-workers. It's a special time to decorate our home, and it's also an excuse to make the food that you serve a bit more elegant than the beer and snacks you might bring out for, say, a Super Bowl party. One way to truly get into the holiday spirit in preparing for a party is by making appetizers with the Christmas theme in mind. Today we're going to learn how to prepare each one of these festive-looking hors d'oeuvres that not only look beautiful, but taste absolutely delicious. Today we have with us a professional caterer from Winona, and she has spent 7 years helping people out, many families in Winona, helping them out with their Christmas parties and other parties as well. And at this time I'd like to introduce her. This is Mara Rakavina. Hi Mara, welcome to the Spirit of Winona.
Thanks Joyce, thanks for having me.
Well Mara, I know I've been at many parties now that you've prepared the food for, and I know that you are a fabulous cook.
Thank you.
I especially love your hors d'oeuvres. I know you do a wonderful job for many people. Tell me about how you got into the catering business.
Honestly, it really started as a fluke. I have to say that I was asked by a friend to prepare some very simple hors d'oeuvres for a party, and it just kind of snowballed from there, to say, and we really don't do any advertising. I find that word of mouth is my best advertising and brings me a great clientele here in Winona. So,
what's the name of your catering business?
We go by the name of Accommodating Catering, which is actually what we do. It's called accommodating. We go on site or in home and provide a service. Anything from small gatherings to we've done parties up to 800. So it all depends upon what type of event you're hosting, who you're going to have, and what your site is going to be, depending upon what type of staff I'll need to bring with me for that event.
And where are you located?
Our commercial kitchens are licensed out of the Kensington, but I would say a great percentage of our business is done, like I said, in a facility or in a private home like yours.
Tell us what you're going to be making for us today.
Today we're going to be doing some hors d'oeuvres. I gathered a few recipes together that are some what I would call all-time favorites of clients time and time again that are requested over and over, so I thought I'd give out those secret recipes. Very basic, nothing complicated, nothing with any type of ingredients that aren't readily available in a grocery store here in Winona. Right now we're going to start with the artichoke and spinach dip. The first thing we do is take a can of artichoke hearts and we'll put them into the bowl. I need to chop them a little bit with the food chopper. They need to be diced up a little bit, and you can do this by hand also if you didn't have a chopper like I have myself. But they just need to be kind of lightly broken up so that they're not whole anymore. Just right at the bottom of the bowl like that. Next thing we're going to put in would be 10 ounces of frozen chopped spinach. What you need to do with the spinach once you take it out of the package and it's thawed is to squeeze all of the water out of it, or else that will disperse into the dip itself and add too much liquid. Our next ingredient could be the chilies. This is a 4-ounce can of chopped chilies. I frequently use jalapeno peppers in mine, which I would use quite a bit less because it has more heat to it. Sometimes if you know your crowd, if it's people who maybe would tend not to like something with a lot of heat in it, you could use the chilies. I usually use jalapeno peppers because I just find that people can't stay away from it when it has a little heat to it. So our next ingredient is a tablespoon of garlic. Garlic and everything, like Emerald says. Bam. So, and our final ingredient is 3 tablespoons of chopped green onion. And I like to use kind of the mid to top section. You're not really I'm trying not to get really the onion flavor, but more the color from the onion itself. So I'll go ahead and put those in there.
There's a lot of good vegetables.
So now we
in
have
there.
a lot of green in there. And I'll just kind of stir that around real lightly. You want to make sure that the spinach gets nice and broken up after we've squeezed it.
All right, this looks like a really healthy dish as well.
Oh, Joyce, I don't know. Now it looks healthy, but just wait till the last couple ingredients get entered. The next ingredient is 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. So you've just lost the healthy factor. But
so
that
you
is
could
what
probably
adds
just eat the
the
vegetables without that.
Sure,
if you
but
wanted
it's
to.
not going to end up the same. The final ingredients is 4 cups of shredded mozzarella and provolone cheese. So I will have you add that.
Okay. Now, did you add anything to the mayonnaise when you put that
No,
in?
that
Nothing at all.
is no.
So there's absolutely no spices in here whatsoever. Just the.
Well, we had the garlic go in. You know, mix it thoroughly because you've got the mayonnaise in there and you want all the elements to stick together. This dip will be put in a chafing pan and we will bake it in the oven at 375 until brown and bubbly. And I usually find that it takes about 30 to 40 minutes for that to happen. I cook in large quantities, so I have to have some large equipment to make sure we can fit double and triple batches of everything in.
Sure.
So.
And then you can just serve it right from the chafing dish.
Right, there's
right
a
on the
holder that
table.
this goes on, and not everyone will have one of these in their home. So you can use some type of a flat, like a Corningware pan or some type of a bake pan would be fine to have it in. Like I said, it is a hot dip, however, so you're going to want to bake it uncovered to get that bubbly and brown. And then I just have the lid on when I transfer it, and people are coming to and from the buffet. So
now I have baked a similar type of a recipe in a flat Corningware, and I think the secret is to get a big flat one because you don't want a thick amount. You just want it thin to dip your cracker in.
Right. And Hey Joyce, are you ready to try your artichoke dip?
Oh, I sure am. Oh,
It's all ready.
It smells so delicious.
Oh, looks great,
It's
doesn't it?
incredibly beautiful. It really is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's try it. Boy, the brown color is just beautiful.
Yeah, it sure turned out nice, didn't it?
It did. It's just perfect. I can't wait to taste it.
Let's try.
Oh, wow, Laura, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
It was such an easy hors d'oeuvre, and it's just absolutely elegant. Just so delicious.
Well, we've set out kind of a variety of crackers here, but I've also served it along with French breads. And you want to have a plainer cracker when you serve it because it has so many good elements of flavor that you really want to be able to taste the dip instead of the cracker. So avoid any type of a flavored cracker or a pepper cracker. Something plainer works much better with it.
Good idea. And you even display the crackers so nicely. Everything you do, you display so well. I like the way you put the napkin underneath the crackers and just a little bit of green lettuce. It looks almost like a Christmas wreath.
Sure. Yes, we're going to make a cheese ball. The elements are simple and basic. We have some sun-dried cranberries, a cup of sun-dried cranberries. These I find readily available mostly in any store in Winona.
So you just dump these in here?
Go ahead and start
so
putting
we're just
the
gonna
basic
mix these
ingredients in.
all
Yep.
right.
This is a 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. And then
mix them all together.
Yep, we're just going to start kind of dumping in the elements. That's a cup of shredded coconut.
Okay.
And then over there you have the cheese and the nutmeg. And that is 8 ounces of shredded mozzarella.
And that
cheese.
goes right in with these ingredients as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the final would be a teaspoon of delicious smelling nutmeg, of which I use, of course, Watkins. Wonderful.
See that. Their spices
Nutmeg.
really are excellent.
Yes, they're fabulous. I use them whenever I can in my recipes. They're just so wonderful. So you're tossing that about, kind of getting the base of what the inner workings of our cheese ball will be. And then to that we're going to add 2 8-ounce bricks of cream cheese, working that together to be all blended. So I'll go ahead and add those. And then typically when I'm working with something that needs a little more of my strength, I will just use my hands, Joyce. So I'll put on these gloves and start to work it in, and kind of like bread, we'll just knead all the ingredients.
I mean, I have a girlfriend who told me that she ran into Mrs. Fields on her airplane. She was an airline stewardess, and Mrs. Fields from Mrs. Fields Cookies told her the best delicious cookies are made by someone who does the kneading by hand of the cookie dough. So she always does her cookie dough by hand.
Right.
So that's the way I do it now too, and it really does taste.
I always said a true chef uses their hands. We're going to form it to be a ball, and then we're going to pat it out on that gold platter there, and we're going to start to make it look like a cheese ball, and then of course we will make it lovely. Well, once we've got our cheese ball all formed, what I do is just kind of shake some loose coconut in my hands, take both of them, and we just kind of pat it all around so it's all evenly distributed around it. It starts to look like a big snowball, and take the rest that kind of falls and form it around. The cheese will grab it real nice and hold on to it for you.
What a perfect hors d'oeuvre for Christmas.
Isn't it? It looks like a snowball to me. It
is.
just reminds me of Christmas.
It does.
So, and then some pecans to do the same thing. We just kind of pat, and those are going to just kind of fall and be color for us, as is the final parsley. And I just kind of throw that on there for a little color to offset the white. And I will transfer that onto its final tray so that we can show everyone what it looks like once it's all finished. I simply will scoop that off there and then move it onto
And even your tray
our
is
cheese
so
board.
pretty.
Yeah.
I love the garnishes that you come up with.
And what I'll usually do is just go around and ring the bottom of it with some fresh cranberries.
Very clever. Next appetizer you're going to prepare looks like something with mushrooms, and you have such a knack for displaying things as well. Now that looks like hollies and berries on there. Just tell us a little bit about how you decorate things, and tell us what the next hors d'oeuvre is going to be.
I find presentations very important in everything that we do. Not only do we want our food to taste delicious, but look appetizing and beautiful as well. So I make sure we go to great lengths to decorate all of our trays and display food so that it looks very delicious and welcoming. So,
And this is just, what type of lettuce is this that you have?
That's an endive.
Okay.
With some grape tomatoes. I try to use just contrast of color. The mushrooms that we're about to make are called pesto and Italian sausage stuffed mushrooms. They are simple elements. The Italian sausage, which I have cooked up a pound and browned, and once again use my Pampered Chef food processor to get a nice texture to it. The other element is prepared pesto, which this is a garlic and basil pesto. These two ingredients have very simple, basic herbs and spices in them. Therefore, we don't use any other spices. 3 simple ingredients, including cream cheese, which will go into the mushrooms.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit more about this pesto. I know you can make it yourself.
Yes.
Tell me about the ingredients that go into a pesto.
Well, pesto simply means paste, and like I said, this is a basil and garlic pesto. You can make pesto from many ingredients. You can make parsley pesto, you can make pumpkin seed pesto. The other ingredients that are traditionally added to the main ingredient are olive oil, some type of a nut. A lot of times it's pine nut. I myself have used walnuts. This variety here uses almonds, along with some broth. When I cut my pesto down, which means I try to lower the fat content sometimes, I'll reduce olive oil content for chicken bouillon. It also has Parmesan cheese and garlic. So what I do is I puree that in my food processor. And this is, for me, it's kind of a hobby of growing the herbs And then the bonding is when I get together with my girlfriends for one night or 2 nights out of the summer, and we make our own pesto, and it's wonderful. This is actually a very good product. It is about as good as I've found.
It's excellent. Tell me where you found that. It's called Christopher Ranch. Where do you find that?
This is a product that is readily available here at Midtown Foods.
Okay.
So
good to know.
And I am told I am one of the few people who buy this. I doubt it, however.
I think you probably sell some more.
Yeah, there we go. It is in the produce section of all strange places, above the lettuce. So in case you're looking for these simple ingredients, we're going to start off with the 1 pound of the browned Italian sausage that I have here. The next thing that we'll add is the pesto. This is an 8-ounce jar of it. So I'll simply put that in there. And you can start to stir that around and get that all incorporated with the flavors that are in Italian sausage already when you purchase it, and then also the spices that are in the pesto. You really simply need not to add anything else to this recipe. And then our last ingredient is an 8-ounce cream cheese, softened. And what we'll do is just work that in there.
So you just do it with a big wide spoon.
When I prepare for hundreds, what I typically will do is put this either in a large mixer or in my food processor.
So then the next thing you do is just take a little bit of this and stuff the mushroom?
Yep.
Okay, well
Simple.
I'll give you a little glob over there and we'll go to town here.
All right, great. Thanks.
Okay.
Yep, this is what I say, the tedious but fun part.
Now do you let it come way out like this?
Well, that's perfect.
Is that
there's no exact science. We always say that's exactly the way it's meant to look. I have a baking dish actually underneath the mushrooms here that we'll just pop into the oven, about 375, and we need to let the mushrooms let. Mushroom lets, it tends to darken, and then juices will run out of it, so then you'll know when your mushroom is ready. You'll be able to smell it.
This is very interesting. A big pile of lettuce here and some interesting hors d'oeuvres. Tell us what we're making with all this.
What we're going to be fashioning is called a banderia tree. It is comprised of compatible foods that are skewered onto a cocktail frill, such as these. And typically what we'll do is we'll take 3 of them and skewer them on, and then we'll soon add them to our cone.
Okay. Where did that term come from, that banderias?
Banderias.
Banderias.
It comes from the, it's supposed to resemble the bullfighting skewer that they have in Mexico, the matador, when he goes to anger the bull and he pokes him with a frilled. I found this to be a great way to display as a sort of variety of food. We have the meats and cheeses and vegetables, and a few more uncommon elements such as the quail eggs and the baby corn. I've also added marinated artichoke hearts, asparagus tips. There really are no rules. What I try to do is do a variety of colors, flavors, textures, but keeping the morsel size.
Tell me where you buy the quail eggs.
I have purchased those at the Rochester Fruit Company in their Asian section.
Okay, do they come in a jar?
They come in a can, yes.
Okay.
So I use those. Cute. They're really cute. Sometimes I'll cut them in half and make them into little open-faced tea sandwiches or whatever. I've had a lot of fun with those. So we'll go ahead and we'll start to make our cone, which is quite easy. I bought this at the fabric shop in town, and I've used it several times. I start by pinning the lettuce. This is just simply a green leaf lettuce. I pin it inwards, and I'll show you why when we get to the endive. Starting at the top, I just take and hold those on there with the small picks. So we're just basically covering the cone, hiding it up so that we don't see any of the cone. The second layer will be a more decorative lettuce that we have here, which is an endive. So I'll continue to cover this here, and then we'll start to pick in our ingredients.
Laura, that really does look like a Christmas tree.
It's starting to take shape, isn't it?
I can see why you put the endive at last. Look how nice and full. It's like a nice full Christmas tree. It's beautiful.
Makes it look like a nice pine, so it gives it some good shape. And now we have a base to work with our skewered picks here. So,
well, I've been busy putting 3 of these vegetables or shrimp or your eggs or whatever and olives on each toothpick, and so I've got a nice array here.
And they're ready to be put on.
Okay.
So I'll go up here and we can start. What I basically do is I like to start at the bottom, and you need to reach the actual core itself, which is our styrofoam cone. So we'll start to put all these in the cone, and then you'll see how it's going to start to take shape here.
They go in very easy.
Yes, they're fun, and people love to see all the colors and the variety, and it's just a nice, fun thing to have at a party. It's a great assortment.
This is just like decorating a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah. An edible tree, of course. So,
now, Mara, I noticed you brought all these toothpicks and so many of your different utensils in this big container over here on the side.
Right. The tower over there that is essential at every party. It's a must-have. So I bring it, and if I run into something that's a emergency, it's usually in there. So I've got it all.
It's really intriguing. Can you show us what's inside of it?
Sure will.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Mara, tell us about your tower of power here.
That's what I call it. It is my essential elements that I cannot leave home without. So in this, I have everything that I need to basically serve and prepare, and it is everything from, we'll start at the top.
Oh, okay.
It is assorted stir sticks, toothpicks, salt, pepper, matches, cloths, fringed toothpicks. These things are essential when you go into a home that doesn't have proper, what I would say, wiring for the equipment I bring.
You have to think of everything.
Yes, you have to think ahead. So I have wedding bubbles just in case. And then wine corks for wine that doesn't get used. I'm actually always frequently asked. We have cream and sugar, business cards.
Wow, this is impressive.
Yeah, I just carry everything. Openers, tongs, kitchen scissors. It goes down. They all get larger as they go down. For tidbits that happen to need toothpicks, I carry those. I have so many assorted varieties of cheese knives and cute little ones that I've been collecting over the years.
Oh, great. These are so cute.
Yeah, these are some of my favorite, my little butlers and all those. I have little forks for picking up things, and this is a frequently forgotten item by somebody who is having a party out of their home.
Everybody needs a corkscrew.
I always have to bring the corkscrew. Here's an essential just in case something happens. You have to have tape. So, and then serving things. It gets bigger, like I said, as it goes down. You get into whisks and spoons and a lot of this stuff we use on our buffets.
I see.
Oh, yes.
You have a few candies just in case you need a little.
Those are essential, Joyce.
Yeah.
So those go down on the buffets usually. Meat forks and ladles for gravies and such like that. This bigger one gets into portion control when you're doing a buffet where you've portioned out things. These are all portioned scoops. They're called grip and serve. So what they do is they sit on side of shaping dishes like that. So when the customer comes up, we have them with holes, we have them without. So it depends upon what they're serving. We've got all of our sorted dressing scoops, and those go all in containers, say when you're having a salad buffet. Things like that, and all kinds of sauce ladles. The one important thing when you're having something like that is to make sure it is portion control, because when you're working up into the hundreds, you have to make sure everyone can eat.
Sure.
This is simply a drawer of canned fuel, and it's as easy as that. A lot of things we do, these are sterno chafing fuels. They're 6-hour wicks, so we'll set these all under our buffets to keep all the food warm for the entire time that they've got their buffet out. So I don't know what the bottom is. I thought miscellaneous, but it looks like just in case anybody forgot forks, and then I've got creamers and sugars there for So it saves my life at every party I go to. It's really.
So you really take this to every single
I
party that you
do. I strap it into my van, and it's one of the first things that comes in with me. I have to have it. It's essential. So.
Well, Mara, it looks like our Christmas tree is finished.
It sure is. It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It is beautiful. It's very colorful, and it was so easy, and I bet it's a really big hit at a party.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And do you put it on a plate?
Actually, I don't, but come and follow me. I'll show you what I typically do with it.
Okay. Well, Mara, I am really anxious to see what you're going to do with our tree.
All right, well, it's come to its final resting spot here, and I have fashioned a box inverted with a
So
screw.
there's a box under here.
There is a box under there.
Oh,
so I've turned it upside down, and I drilled a screw through the top of it. So our styrofoam tree is just really going to be placed right on top of the box like that.
Oh, clever.
So that's going to make it nice and sturdy when your guests come and they start to pull from the sides of the tree.
Sure.
It's not going to topple. It doesn't matter what side more sticks get pulled from. It's always going to have a nice sturdy balance to it. And then I fashioned some other vegetables in a dip tray down there.
What's in your dip?
That is, it's not a secret, but it is actually a mix that we blend ourselves in our kitchens. It's a dry mix, and it's got garlic and dill and
So you could really use any type of dip.
Oh, sure, any at all. You know, just the cucumbers and the carrots wouldn't be something that we would typically put on the tree like this. So we kind of lay them around in a fashion on the bottom. You could put any kind of vegetables down there that you'd like. So.
And I see you've also added some mulled cider here. Tell me about your recipe for that.
Sure.
And it looks so pretty and festive with the cranberries and the oranges floating in it.
Sure. Started off with some apple juice. Combined that with cranberry juice and orange juice. I would say equal amounts. And then I added a mulling spice to it. Some clove, and then on top we floated the cranberries and the orange slices.
It's so pretty, and your platter of cookies is just lovely.
Right. Yep. And that's just simply a nice tiered tray that I use quite a bit when I put out desserts, or I use it for little hors d'oeuvres also.
Well, Mara, I want to thank you for getting us all into the Christmas spirit by making these fabulous hors d'oeuvres.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you also for joining me today. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the spirit of Winona.